I have a very fun guest. We're going to talk about everything from gardening to horseback riding and the projects she's working on. It is Spotlight On next.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Wheeling through an endless.
It's so funny. I've heard the name and never heard the music. I like this so far.
We are the ever-living ghost of.
Wow, that's Band of Horses. Wow, okay. Hello, welcome to Spotlight On here on AfterBuzz TV and AfterBuzzTV.com. I am your host, James Lott Jr. You can follow me, of course, at James Lott Jr. all over the universe, or the webverse, or how you want to say that, interwebs. There we go. I have a great guest I'm bringing in today. I like how she describes herself on her Twitter page. It's very similar to how I describe myself on my Twitter page. And I'm going to end with that part, but she's done some films recently. She's starring, she is doing a supporting role in Kevin James's Netflix feature, True Memoirs of an International Assassin. She just did an indie feature called Relentless. I want to talk about that. Actually, that sounds really serious. Talk about that. She was in Crossbones, which I watched that show.
It was fun.
It was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
John Malkovich, it was a great show. And she's been around for a while here, and she also describes herself as a mama, actor, dreamer, lover, and gypsy, which is very appropriate for actors. These are your gypsies, right? Mm-hmm. It is Lauren Shaw.
Thank you for having me.
No, that's a pleasure. Thanks for coming on. Actually, I'm going to go out of turn I have a show run. I'm going to go out of turn for a second and start with Crossbones.
Yeah.
Because, and we have a picture we can show, and you played Antoinette.
I did.
The crazy ex of Blackbeard or whatever. It was such a fun show. It was on NBC. Such a fun show.
It was so much fun. I mean, getting the chance to work with Julian Sands and John Malkovich.
Yeah.
And getting the chance to play in that fun space.
Oh my God. Because it was kind of funny in some parts, but it was very serious in other parts, and it was historical, kind of whimsical, everything.
That's the whole backstory. So when you first meet me in the story, I've been in this insane asylum for 8 years.
Yes.
So playing in that space was fun.
How was it to every day come out of that as an actor? Are you just so trained you can do it, come out of it really easily, or were they like you had to like jokes, you had to like hold yourself, like what do you have to do afterwards?
No, you know what? I was incredibly lucky to find Diana Castle when I landed in LA. I think, so many people go through so many teachers to find someone who really is that teacher for you.
Yeah.
And
Diana
Castle, yes. And her, she told me a great quote once, which was a Meryl Streep quote, which when she was asked whether or not she used her children in a story, she said, "The heavens no, but I hug them a little tighter when I go home at night." So your play life informs your real life, and your real life informs your play. But when there's no substitution and you are playing in an imaginary world, it's very real when you're playing in it.
Yeah.
But then that's not your world, and you step away. So
I like that.
I think that there's ripples outwards.
Yeah.
You do, certainly it's as a mother myself, it was crazy to play in a space where I kill both my children in the story.
Right.
But yeah, that I don't know.
When you got the call that you were going to come on the show, that like John Malkovich, and you mentioned Julian Sands, who I loved in films way before. He's been around for a long time too. Do you like pinch yourself?
A little bit. The scene where he's walking up steps to me and go, okay, be cool. No, but he was amazing. Yeah. Julian was great. They were, it was my first American TV show recurring role, and they were so hugely supportive of me. Darren Sarafian directed my first big episode, and then came back for another one. He was great as well too, and just helping me navigate, different directors and people having a different idea of, what your character is. And Antoinette is so crazy that everyone, I think, had a little bit of a different idea.
Well, that's why I asked you, like, were you able to come out of it? Because you had to go some places in there, which is great for an actor. It's great for an actor. You get to go play these places. But I always feel like, I like that quote, you just hug them the kids a little tighter. You may not take it home with you.
Meryl Streep at the bit.
Oh, hello.
But yeah,
it's kind of cool.
So I've stolen that and made that for them.
I like that. What is one thing about John Malkovich that really surprised you working with him? We know he's a good actor and all that kind of stuff, but what was something you're like, oh, okay, he likes apples, or something interesting?
He loves fabrics. He loves shopping around the world and living in France, and just very soft-spoken, so smart, but very polite. So I don't know if that's anything I didn't expect.
I like that though. Okay.
But he's a very interesting man.
He seems smart. I mean, I don't know what that looks like. I mean, but you know what I mean. He seems like a guy, because his acting choices are very interesting.
And he's very considered when he speaks, and just very,
Yeah, I kind of picture that actually. That he'd be
quite composed.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Wow, that's a good. How was it working for network television? Like, so you do all kinds of, you do indie stuff and films. It was great.
Well, it was, and I mean, I came in, a couple episodes in, so people kind of found their nation. This is just, like I said, it was such a crazy character. So I was very grateful. That's why I spoke of Darren in the first episode, just because he gave me the support I needed, but also the room to play. So
the best director for you kind of are the ones that give you the space and also are supportive.
I just felt incredibly supported. Yeah. And there were notes given when I needed them, and yeah, he was amazing.
Because you're like, I'm here to do a job, tell me what I need to do, and I'm going to deliver it, right? Because basically that's what you're here for. You're coming in to.
I mean, there's so many different styles, and some people have a very specific idea for everything. And if that's the case, then that's great too. But no,
you seem like a person who would just adapt easily. You just like, okay, what do you need me to do? Let's do it. I'm here to do a job. You hired me. I'm here to do it, right?
I think that's the gypsy part. Growing up all around the world, 12 odd different schools.
Okay,
and, you become adaptable after.
Yeah, but you're okay. So were you born in Wellington, New Zealand?
I was.
So you were born, but you went around because on here it says you were New Zealand, Alaska. So I mean, you went all over the place.
So my early childhood was Alaska.
Yeah.
And then back and forth to New Zealand, Seattle for high school, Hawaii for college.
Oh wow.
Back to New Zealand, and then LA. Coming up 4 years.
Wow. Okay, so you went to some extreme places.
I mean, basically, I just chased earthquakes all around the Pacific Rim.
Oh my God, it's so funny. I mean, Alaska. Like, how was that as a child?
I think it was amazing. I think your early childhood, the physical nature of where you are, really does shape you so much.
Yes, I agree.
So my dad was a boat builder, and I grew up fishing with him. And I was, not a loner as a kid, but I was completely happy with my own company and building mud pies and making bows and arrows and climbing trees.
Oh my God,
and
I love it.
Skiing and, so I think that love of the wilderness and outdoors and adventure was probably spawned the stunt direction.
I was going to say,
well,
obviously informed that, didn't it? Oh my goodness. I've been meeting some really great women who are, because I want people out there, women are obviously are stunt coordinators and stunt women. And obviously, and you've done a lot of stunt stuff. Yeah,
look, I've been really lucky. It wasn't something that, it was initially even in my vision as something. But, I've been really lucky, right place, right time to get to work in some amazing jobs.
Do you ever get scared in some of the stunts?
Hell yes.
Do you really like?
Yes, absolutely.
Is there one that really were like, okay, I don't know about this, or is there one that just kind of got you?
People always ask that. I'm like, yes, of course. Anyone who says they don't is crazy.
Yeah.
It's just whether or not you can, pick up your proverbial and. So.
Yeah. But you enjoy it. I mean, you just.
I do. I love it. I mean, most of the time you're going, I'm getting paid to drive a car extremely fast, or doing whatever it is you're doing.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. To answer your question, I was really nervous about the jump in the Kevin James film.
Okay.
Because I was standing up there, and for anyone that we really did that jump.
Wow.
And I'd done jumps to water before, but not out of a helicopter. So last time I was like, okay. And one didn't feel so good. The second was good. And what I didn't know is that the helicopter breaks up all the water wash. So it actually softens it.
Oh,
so
you know that.
I had a big jump off of the boat in Revenge, which is a little bit lower.
Yes,
but it was hard water.
Yes, yeah.
And that felt a lot more like a slap.
Ooh, I'm sure. Well, because water can cut you, right?
So.
That's all. So also
if you're jumping out of a helicopter, just don't worry. It's going to soften the water. You're going to be fine.
Okay, I'll be fine. Okay, got it.
But if you're wearing a wedding dress and it's calm, then just brace yourself.
That's so funny. Because I mean, that must be because I didn't do that. It's okay. So give me this the few seconds. You're up in the helicopter, and you're like, okay, I'm getting ready to do this jump. Like, what goes through your mind, kind of? Do you have a ritual where you kind of say, okay, I'm doing this? Do you say hi, whoever, and then you jump, or?
I think no matter what you're doing, especially when you're being given a countdown, you're blocked through every step exactly what you're going to do. Okay. So almost envisioning exactly how it's going to go.
Oh, okay.
Envisioning it going perfectly as planned.
Yes, of course.
And then you step up and just do it.
I forgot that. I forgot they're all everything's choreographed, I'm sure, and thought out.
Not necessarily, but that one particularly was because of the timing of matching what we've done in the studio in terms of how we leave the. I get shoved out.
I don't know where you put it, right? So you stood up. I love it. That's so interesting. Now, I'm going to go back a little bit because this all kind of informs back to you being an athlete, and we were talking before a camera, we were talking about horses and horseback. For whatever reason, as a small child, I was always infatuated with horses. I mean, I don't know where it came from exactly.
You
but
don't have to explain it to me.
Okay, so I love horses and different kinds of horses and everything, and so I actually contacted. This is like, so I was like 8 or 9. I was a very go-getting child, as it informs me today. I actually contacted the Hollywood Bowl and the Hollywood Racetrack. This is back in the 70s, and I asked them if I could come and have a tour. I was like, and then I looked up in the phone book, back when we had phone books, and I actually called on the phone, my rotary phone, and did that. And they were so impressed that this 9-year-old was like asking if he could come by. They let me come and meet the jockeys and touch the horses and get on the horses. I was so happy. And ever since then, and that's when I rode a horse was maybe 2 years ago. I loved it.
Amazing.
Up in San Jose. Actually, for my birthday, my friends got me a horseback riding thing, and you ride around all these ridges, and just you see all the Bay Area, and it's just really beautiful. And what is it about you and horses?
Oh, the same thing. I mean, when we were living in Alaska, I would ride here and there, but most of my horse riding time was in New Zealand. I've got 2 aunties that are competed up to almost Olympic level in eventing and in dressage in New Zealand, so I was lucky enough to be involved with that there. But no, I had a whole fleet of buoys, that my dad's buoys from the boats, that were my horses, and I would gallop them around the lawn and make dressage courses, and they all had names.
Funny. That's so cute.
So I wanted horses, so I understand that. That love. But no, that was part of what, I was part of the acting world long before stunt work, but the coordinators knew me as both a driver and a writer, and that was what initially got me into stunt work in New Zealand on shows like Seeker, Legend of the Seeker, and Spartacus.
Oh wow! Yeah.
So I did a lot of the horse work in both those shows.
God, love me some Spartacus. I wish that show was still on. It was so much fun. It was so good. Oh my God! Every Friday night, everybody would just run to Stars. We'd all watch and talk about it. It was so legendary. But anyway, but yeah. So I mean, so the horse thing. Like, what is one thing about horseback riding? Like for me, it just feels freeing, and I'm with the horse. Like if you get a good horse or you get a horse that you can, it's chemistry in horses, right?
Absolutely.
Horses have souls and spirits, and it's if you can connect, right?
And they will tell you if they're not happy too.
I know. I told my friend once. My friend he was a little
nervous too.
Yeah, and I kept saying, try to stay calm. We did a whole thing where we said, okay, let's just talk to the horses first. Pet them, get to know them before we get up on them.
So true.
And it's true. It's just like, and so they go, oh, okay, and the horse feels a little comfortable. Maybe you'll feel a little more comfortable. He just didn't, and the horse took off at one point with him on it, and he was scared.
Which is 2 versions. It's either the horse is scared because you're scared.
Yes.
Or the horse knows you're not boss, and the horse is like,
Right, exactly.
Bye.
Yeah. You move your legs in, your thighs, and then his horse is like, and you're massaging me. Thank you. Anybody horseback riding knows you use steer horses.
I explain to people how I think people really understand it more generally, that how surfers are connected to the ocean. They can understand on an essential level how that's amazing to be on the water. For me, that's horses.
Me too.
I mean, I love the ocean too, but any day that I get to be on set and riding horse, or even just hanging out with a horse or mucking out a stable, I'm happy.
I understand it. I totally get it. I totally get it. And now our Hollywood Park is gone, and it's gone now. So not just a little tight casino. But I want to go horseback riding.
I know.
Okay, I gotta do it.
Yeah.
Now you also you had a minor role in 0 Dark 30.
I did.
So with Catherine Bigelow as the director. How was that?
She's amazing.
Having a female director, isn't that great?
She was amazing. I'm going to take the word female out of that sentence.
Take it out.
Honestly.
Yes.
I mean, I've had the blessings of working with directors across the board, and all sides of projects, whether stunts or acting. I don't think that I've ever worked with a director who was so invested and so present with the scene and with her actors. Before or since, and it was the most beautiful thing to watch. And I still picture the day where she was sitting watching Jennifer Ely be filmed. There was no dialogue. It was her waiting for the arrival of the.
Oh yeah.
And just watching her watch the scene and just being a fly on the wall was amazing.
Wow.
So female or not, she was incredible.
It was a great film.
But having that energy, I mean, she just is. She's such a powerhouse.
Yeah. I just always wonder: is there a different energy with female directors? If you're a female, is there a certain energy you guys sync up in terms of? Like I said, being present, do you kind of feel it more than male, or is it just that she's just so incredible, period, as a director?
I mean, maybe sometimes. I think that sometimes female directors maybe get a bad rap, especially in the TV world, because in part I think they often don't have as much of the support as the male-dominated crew as their male counterparts.
I agree. So
I feel like sometimes they're on the back foot a little bit, and they don't, so yeah. But I mean, overall, that That would be my answer about Catherine.
How's it been as being a female stunt woman? How's that in Hollywood? Is there any difference, or because you're usually doing female actress role? I mean, does it matter? I mean, is it a big difference or not? I've always been curious about that actually.
And different in terms of what?
I don't, because some professions, women and men aren't equal in terms of how they're treated. Mm-hmm. But I feel like in the stunt world, because you are there to support the actors in the films or TV, it's stunts. I mean, are you guys basically just equal because it's not, there's no competition really? It's kind of gender filled.
I mean, I don't know that it was necessarily like this in the past, but from what I've experienced, I've been lucky enough to work with the most incredible coordinators who are family and incredibly supportive. And there's the joshing and the joking, but for the most part, the boys, when they have to do something like Spartacus, then they go, "Holy cow! You girls have to wear bikinis and high heels and have no pads and fall down, and we're over here with our jean jacket and our
on Spartacus." Oh my God, the men were objectified. Trust me.
So
that's true.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Good.
I think that everyone's respected for their various, skill set and what they're doing. There's some incredible female stunt coordinators out there, incredible female performers. So, no, I mean, I haven't personally experienced that at all.
I wanted to ask a question just for anybody out there, any young girls who are out there who are thinking, I want to be a stunt person. That's probably just a fun, it's a great job, and you can just go in and...
It is a great job, and I think from my experience, because I often get asked, how do you become a stunt performer? I mean, for a lot of people, it's right place, right time, but I think you have a skill that is applicable to the stunt world, be it parkour or martial arts, or you're a driver or whatever it is. If you can be the best at that and then kind of get it in there and then sort of become more well-rounded from there, I think that's really the ultimate.
Wow, that's so amazing. Okay, I want to talk about Relentless. If you go ahead and show that pick I have as the third pick, because this film is an indie film, and I was reading what it was about, and I'm like, can you explain to folks what it's about?
Yeah.
So they know.
So we filmed in El Salvador, which in itself was historic. It was the first time that the feature film had been shot there in 60 years. So even the film Salvador was not filmed in El Salvador because they considered it too dangerous to film there.
Wow. Okay.
So it was definitely an experience. So it's based on true events about what really does happen, but it is a fictional thriller drama. And it follows my journey to rescue my daughter who gets caught up in a human trafficking ring. Back from that ring. So it follows me through onto the Train de la Muerte without giving too much away. But it really is. It's over 500,000, mostly women and children per year, that come in from Central America into America. And it's a huge issue that I just don't. I mean, I think people are like, it exists. Slavery has a different face in modern day, and it is slavery. Whether it's women that have had their papers taken away or are being abused or violated in some way, or whether they're being forced to work to pay, and what happens, the atrocities on the Train to la Muerte, just getting to America are something else. So it's a
important film.
Very important film. We partnered with the Abolish Slavery Coalition to make this as well too, which is an incredible organization working really at the ground level as well as on the awareness side of things. So yeah, it was an amazing movie. It just actually won Best Drama, and Lance got the Best Director nod at Breckenridge Film Festival.
Congratulations.
His first festival. So it's just starting that circuit now.
No, I want to see it. I'm not in the mood for it, but I want to see it. I totally want to see it. But I think it's a very important film because you said something just now that's so important to say. The face of slavery is very different these days around the world. It's still happening in just various different ways.
Absolutely.
And it still is just as devastating as it was, hundreds of years ago. It's still devastating.
Of course.
And it's still happening. It's crazy.
Absolutely. And it's very easy to turn a blind eye when it's not immediately in your face. And that's why, I mean, look, I think it's a fun drama. It is heavy.
Yeah.
But it's still a great thriller. It's an action film, everything else. I just, I think we tackle it with some grit at the end. It's not the easy, soft
I want folks to see it. I'm not trying to say, everybody go see it. I mean, I'm going to see it myself, and I'll tweet you what I think. But I think it's something that's very important. Central America has a lot of problems still. Some parts of South America have problems that have this going on. And were you scared at all while you were there filming? I mean, how was the mood? Because you're already in the mood as an actress.
Yeah.
But how is it just in general?
You know what? The Salvadoran government were amazing. They had a team of guys from the GRP that were with us 24/7 protection-wise. But the people there were so fantastic.
I'm sure.
Honestly, there was not a moment that I personally felt unsafe at any time. whether that's because I was oblivious and people
Yeah.
taking it, but no,
Yeah.
I really didn't. It was an amazing country, and I really hope I have the chance to go back.
I've gone to some poorer countries, and usually the people are just like the nicest. They're just like, it's human. These are people that are just like living their lives.
Yeah, well,
And
and
trying to
the very
survive.
essential elements of survival are what matter to them, and that comes together. I just came back from Nepal and experienced the same
Oh
thing.
wow, yeah. Doesn't it? I mean, for me, whenever I come back from somewhere, that's basically they call third world, but let's say just a poorer country. I don't want to use the word third world. That I come back really appreciative of even what little I have, but which is still more than what many of them have, and I feel like my values are reaffirmed a little bit because their basic levels. They're about family and love, and like I said, we talk about gardening. They're all these. There's so many levels to them are such just like basic human levels. I feel like I'm reminded when I come back from this like that.
Reminded, I came back from Nepal. I spent 2 weeks there with building a school in
Oh, wow.
a southeast rural area about a month and a half ago.
Wow.
I feel like they have so much to teach. Like it's a two-way street. I mean, of course, you come back going, I have so much more than I need and
Yeah,
everything
yes.
else. But there's also a wisdom and a beauty and the way in which, they live their lives is there's a lot to be learned from that too.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And which is why I have a garden at my house. And there's a whole urban garden movement happening here in LA especially. And I live in South LA and it's happening down there. Because when you see something grow, it changes you.
It does.
When you plant something and you see it and you tend to it.
That's what I was
and
going to say. You care for it.
You care for it. It almost makes me teary-eyed a little bit. I love when I see things come of age, so to speak. Where I go, wow, 3 months ago you looked like this. I talk to my plants all the time.
Of
I
course.
talk to everything.
I talk to my plants, talk to my dog. I mean, all of that. I think having anything, whatever it is that you care for, whether it be plants or animals or children, it removes you from yourself, and it grows that empathetic muscle. And
Yes.
I think I was thinking that coming here, the two things, whatever we can all do to expand that and education are the two things that I really think are, going to bring some solutions to the
Yes, I agree with that,
multitude
yes.
of problems.
Issues right now. Well,
us.
I know, believe it or not, I have grandchildren, and one of the beautiful things when I was visiting them about 3 weeks ago,
Where
they
are
each
they?
came up. They're in Sacramento,
Okay.
where there's a lot of plant life there, and they actually came up to me like, Papa Jamie is what they call me. Papa Jamie, we each have our own succulents now. My little 9 and 10-year-olds are like, that's succulents, and they're like showing me their succulents in the like, I said, don't water them too much, remember, it's okay. And I was talking to them, and it was like, but it was so cute that they know I'm a gardener that they came up to me and was like, I have this, what we have. And I like put them in the window and do this, and it was just so cute because that's education. They're learning how to tend to something, and they're excited about it. It's not another video game,
Yeah.
or something that's just something for real. And they have a turtle, and they have a few little things running around. It's like I'm so happy for them.
It's important.
I think it is growing up for kids to have that. I grew up having animals growing up all the time, and my grandmother had a garden. She lived 10 blocks away from us here in LA, and she always had a garden. So I learned about turnips and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, obviously, if we're in an apartment life and in LA, it's a little bit more difficult. But there's no reason why you can't have a little box, and at least it's the
Yes.
life cycle, and even if it's small, it's just something.
Yes,
I think
you
it's
said it right there.
important.
You can have a little box in the window. I have friends in their apartments have herb gardens. Cooking with your own herbs is amazing.
It's the best.
Oh, I love. See, I have a little
All right,
basket.
let's talk about cooking now.
Yeah, I know, really. I love my own food. It's crazy. But no, I have a little basket, and then I feel so proud of myself. And I Snapchat this all to my friends. Just like, oh God, James. When I have a harvest, when my stuff fruits, I have loquats, I have plums.
So where do you live? So next time you come,
I'll tweet you. Just come on over. And you can bring your basket with you. I got like a lot of fruits and vegetables.
because I can do some baking. We can do a little
Yes.
baking and fruit
Yes.
sauce.
Okay, done. We're done. I love it. But no, I mean, when you cook with your own, when I go to I have an herb garden too, actually, in my window. And I grab my oregano and I grab my rosemary or my basil and I put it in my sauce, which is from my tomatoes. There's something about it's magical.
It is.
It's magical. I love it. I love it so much. I just love it so much. Now, also, you're in the latest film with Kevin James. It's on Netflix. Actually, you play Sabine, correct? Did I say correctly?
Yes.
There's 2 Memoirs of a National Assassin. How did that come along to you? How did that come to you?
I actually first got a call from the stunt coordinator, and he was saying
okay.
they need to cast an actress who's comfortable actually flying around in a helicopter. So this movie was so much fun, and I have to give the biggest props to the stunt team on this.
Okay.
Steve Ritzy, Alan D'Antoni, all the stunt doubles and stunt performers who worked in this. Most of what you see, this is not CGI. This is not green screen. This is an old school action film where they actually went out and did all of this. So like the jump from the helicopter, that's actually from the helicopter. So I had to spend a bunch of days working in a Huey and, having a pilot almost crashing in him.
It's for work. It's for work. Yes.
So that was how it came about.
Wow.
So Steve got my name as an actors who could handle their own stunts, and then went to the casting director through that way.
So so how does that work? Because you have several talents.
Mm-hmm.
So when roles come to you, I mean, does it come? Do you have all directions?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it would come through my theatrical reps, or in this case, he was kind of on the ground going, they're having trouble,
Oh wow.
And so then my name filtered through the casting that way.
Filtered through. That's good. Because I'm saying, because you have such, I mean, you're diverse.
Yeah.
Which is one of the best things to be in Hollywood, folks. Just to let you know that. And do you do any directing or anything too?
I don't. I produced at home in New Zealand.
Producing. Okay, you produce. Yes. So that's good. So you can produce your own projects if you want to. I see great things for you. I just see so many great things for you. I'm feeling your energy, and you have really good energy. What is another piece of advice you were given from someone that really serves you well these days when you navigate this crazy, unpredictable business?
Oof.
You know it is. Sometimes it's hurry up and wait or rejection city. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that happens in this business.
I mean, it's not an original, but it's something that you have to love what you do.
Yes.
You have to love what you do.
I agree with that.
And I honestly do. Every day I get to set foot on set. All right, on whatever scale it is, and I'm like, this is so fucking cool.
I love it. That's right.
But it really is, and it's the people and it's the team that as much as anything.
Yeah.
In whatever capacity I'm there, there's a certain energy and the type of people that are drawn to this crazy world.
Yeah,
and that's a big part of what I love.
That's true.
And hearing stories and finding out what brought them to where they are.
Because you mentioned Gypsy, and I was telling somebody the other day, because I'm like, for most actors, the goal is to play as many roles as you can, and you're kind of nomadic, and you move around, and you whether it's theater or film or TV. So when you said Gypsy, I was like, that makes sense to me that you said Gypsy, because I mean isn't that part of the acting kind of insides?
It is, and I think my childhood led me to become quite a traveler. So any opportunity I have to travel or go somewhere, I mean, God, and that's the other part about my job. You get to be in amazing places.
God, I know. Where'd you guys film Assassin?
So that was Dominican Republic and Atlanta.
Okay, Atlanta, I know Atlanta.
So,
nice cosmopolitan city.
Yeah.
But no, it's just you get to do all this stuff that people dream of and wish they could do, and you get to do it. When you were a kid, did you like moving around so much, or did you appreciate it later, or did you know at the time you knew it was pretty special?
I mean, I loved being in New Zealand. I loved Alaska, but I mean, the moving around part sucks.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, let me give you a mental picture. So I was in New Zealand at 12, and I was playing rugby in the boys' team, and almost as tall, but 30 pounds lighter, skinny, and I'd cut my hair off to here, and much to my mother's disgust, had shaved a #1 uppercut up the back. There's no photos of this anywhere.
Oh, anywhere? Dang it. Okay, I was going to look. Yes.
And so right when I came back from New Zealand at 12, 13, my family moved to Seattle.
Okay.
And I started middle school in Medina, which is the middle school right by Bill Gates on Lake Washington. So needless to say, it's quite a wealthy middle school.
Yeah, I guess so.
And I turn up, and I have no idea. I've never worn makeup in my life. I look like a boy.
Yes.
My mom's borrowing a BMW, and some kid goes, "Nice Beamer," and I have no idea what they're talking about. I'm like, "What's a Beamer?" So it's kind of been like culture shock after culture
I guess
shock.
So. Yeah.
But blessing in the long run. Yeah. But now I enjoy being different places and soaking up different things.
Sure.
But as a kid, it kind of sucks.
Yeah. Now, you have kids or kid?
One daughter.
One kid. Can she travel? Is she a good traveler?
She's amazing.
I would say a lot of times if you travel them early, my daughters are easy travelers. They can go anywhere.
She hops on the plane. No, she's amazing. I mean, I think we did the first long haul flight to the States when she was 1.5 years in New Zealand.
Okay.
And so she just went to Thailand with me. She didn't go to Nepal just because there's a lot of physical manual labor with actually digging the school foundations.
Wow.
But hopefully take her back in a couple years.
So what is one of the tricks of taking a child on a long flight? Because I've only done maybe 6 hours on a flight with my daughters when they were little, and that was kind of rough sometimes. But I don't. Do you have a trick, or is it you get a bulkhead seat so there's nobody in front of you? I mean, you know little things I always talk about, right?
I think it depends what age they are.
Okay.
I mean, up until about the first, until they're walking, then it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Right.
At about 18 months, she didn't sleep the whole night in the 12-hour flight. She was happy, she wasn't crying, but she thought it would be really fun to like run into the first class retrieving her back.
She knew she wanted some service. That's why she was in first class service.
Look, I don't know. She's amazing at entertaining herself.
Okay.
If you give her a pen and paper and some crayons, she'll draw and write stories and entertain herself. She has an amazing imagination. So
Ooh, do you think
I'm
she
lucky.
wants to be actress or anything? You think?
She said no up
she
until
said no,
recently,
okay.
and she did tell me recently. She said, I think I might have changed my mind, but
Ooh.
she wants to be an artist right now.
I like
That's fine. I said,
love
mommy's an
artists.
artist too.
Yeah, you are.
Just a different type of artist.
Yes.
But no, she's fun. She's busy being a kid.
Yeah.
Just
Thank
how
God,
I want it.
right? Thank God. Kids should be kids today.
Yeah.
I feel like an old person. Kids should be kids today. Oh my God.
No, but she plays soccer, and we're
cool.
gonna head up to the mountain and snowboard a bunch this winter. And
I love
we're
it.
always on adventures.
That's gonna be a strong woman. I love it. I love that so much. Now we've also done, like you said, we did Spartacus, Parks and Recreation. What was it like? You guested on there. What was that like?
Oh my God, so fun.
I'm sure they're all fun. I mean, how do you keep it
fun.
together? How do you keep it together on that set? I'm sure.
The remote, so hard. Like,
I'm
the
sure.
cameras weren't on me, man, and I'm literally like dying. And Amy's just improvising.
Oh my God. It's about genius. She's a genius.
Incredible.
Oh my God.
Incredible.
So when these things come to
But
you,
it was
you're
almost
like,
that I'm like so I'm like lost in like what? I'm like,
oh, my C's, my turn to say do something. Right, do something. I'm sure, right? It's like, 'cause you're like in awe. You're like, wow, you're so good. Oh yeah, it's my turn.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Wait,
Exactly.
I'm gonna punch you in the face. Okay, no, we're good. Please just don't move. No. Yeah.
I love it. I mean, they do that. But you mentioned Legend of the Secret, which is like a kind of a cult thing these days. Actually, how's that working on that? You're in your native land. You get to do that. I mean, it must have been just wonderful.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
And talk about girl power. I mean, there
Yeah.
was like girl stunts after
Yes.
action, after women fighting. It was great.
Yes.
No, it was amazing. It was a great team of people, amazing actors. Obviously, Bridget's gone on to great
Yes.
things here.
Oh my God,
She was
I know.
amazing in the show. God, I mean, I got paid to ride around on a horse and swing swords and roll around with my friends. I mean,
Yeah, here's the thing. What is it about New Zealand, even Australia? Because they're two separate countries, folks. They're two separate cultures and everything.
New Zealand is not a part of Australia.
No, it sure isn't. It's a very different culture. But I watched shows like The Tribe. It was big for a while with all the kids. I used to love that show so much. But it's a lot of shows that come from down there that have just a different sensibility, but they're like kind of cult classics. They become these worldwide kind of viewing hits. What do you think that is?
I don't know.
Because I mean, you're talking a small country that's influencing
Yeah.
the world.
Well, you know what? I mean, in terms of like the crew that's there in New Zealand now, I mean, I really do think like everything from makeup and special effects through to the guys doing
Top
action are incredible.
Yeah.
And not that I didn't know that they were good when I was there, but coming here, I was like, wow, really,
Yeah, I'm sure.
know
Just
our
top
stuff at
notch.
home.
Yeah. Beautiful scenery, I'm sure.
The scenery, but I think there's a real culture in New Zealand of just mucking in and getting things done. It's the number 8 wire mentality. Like we're okay. This is the thing. How are we going to figure out how to do this? And there's definitely a creative can-do mentality that I think comes through when that's.
I admire that, actually. I like that. You just do it. Just do it.
Figure
You
out
can
how to do it.
Figure out you do it. You figure out you do it. That's kind of my mentality. Just go out there and do it.
Okay, I'm gonna do it. And then, okay, how do I?
Right. We'll see how it works.
Connect the dots
Then.
and
Right.
Modify.
I like that. I mean, just totally. I like that mentality. But I just think it's a beautiful. I mean, I want to go. One of my friends went to Christchurch, and I loved it.
Yeah. And thinking of everyone, if anyone's watching from New Zealand, I hope everyone's okay. I know the last
yes.
few days have been
Yes,
pretty
folks.
scary.
Yes.
So.
How's that for you when you hear something that's just so far away? Do you like get on a plane like right away and get there, or?
No, I mean, look. Obviously, Christchurch got hit so hard about 5 years back.
Yes, it did.
So it's just, I think it's really scary for the people living there having it happen again.
Yeah.
Obviously, not the same damage and level, but a very. I mean, the epicenter was close to Christchurch, and my friends in Auckland said that it was very severe. So for everyone out there, that's like the middle of the South Island to the very top of the north felt it.
Wow.
So
That's a strong jolt.
Yeah.
You know, you're in LA. We've had some big earthquakes back in the past, but we haven't had one in a long time.
I may have been putting together a bug out bag in light of all of this in the last few days, actually.
Well, no, I have. Okay, at my house.
You think I'm joking?
No, I'm laughing because I'm supposed to tell you. Every room I have a flashlight in every single room with batteries where I can grab a flashlight. You just never know. And I have water in places. I'm kind of there a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not a doomsday prepper or anything, but I do kind of have.
It's not that, but if something happens and you really do have to, especially for me being a mom,
Yes.
I want to be, have stuff that, I've at least got some food for her and basic supplies and, very minimal, but it's something we're thinking about.
I totally agree with you on that one. I always say on my shows, I like to ask people, because I like to put things in existence, is there something you would like to accomplish with you that you're working on? You're like, oh, I'd like to do this one day, or have this happen one day.
In the realm of like storytelling, entertainment,
yeah, it could be anything. Let's say it out loud.
Out loud. At the moment, just having come back from Nepal, I'm just education. I'm not quite sure what vehicle this takes, but I definitely want to work more with Build On, in terms of leading more treks and bringing awareness to this incredible organization, but really not just Build On itself, but the essence of it.
Kind of the mission
of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Equal opportunity education, for people that don't have access to it. And it's something that I think people really take for granted in this country.
Yeah, education is power.
It really is.
From those, and when we say power, I don't mean like the biggest thing, but education from the smallest to the biggest.
Education is empowering, I think.
There you go.
You know what I mean? And it was a real talking to the women in the village who were the mothers, and then seeing, even, the children. They're in the space of their life. Just everything changes. With
education builds hope.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of people don't feel hope when they don't have education. Mm-hmm. They don't know how to go forward or what to do.
And they don't feel free. That was the word that kept coming up with these women. They were saying, "You women are so free," and they were fascinated that I had a daughter and that I was traveling overseas without her.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's neat for me to think that, and it was, it was the girls who wanted to be the doctors and the nurses. The boys were busy wanting to be soccer players and Bollywood singers. But the girls were all
Bollywood. I'm like, I'm there. I'm that one too. I want to be a Bollywood singer. Trust me. Another life. But yes, I like that though.
So yeah, I don't know what vehicle that takes.
Well, now it's going to reveal itself to you.
Yeah.
That's my prediction. It's going to reveal itself to you. Something's going to come up. It's going to happen. Yeah. What's the name of the organization people can actually go to if they want to know more about it?
Build On. BuildOn.org. And they do incredible work here in America as well, too.
Oh, good.
So it's, they basically take groups of people and you get to go start the build of a school in the various areas that they work.
I'm going to do that. It sounds like fun. It sounds empowering, but it sounds like fun also. Kind of a group of people together working for a common cause.
Absolutely. And, especially if it's... maybe inner city youth in America that haven't had a chance to really have their horizons broaden. It definitely, I think it's pretty life changing. And
there's also parts of rural America too. I go to the Midwest all the time that just they have the same problems too. It's just very rural. The factories have gone out of business and there's nothing going on. And they still need education there too. They do. So I like the word empowering. That's education's empowering and brings hope, of course.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on. You're wonderful. I talk to you forever about all kinds of stuff. I talk to you forever. You're so good.
We're only just getting started.
I know. Oh my God.
I need gardening tips. We need to go riding.
Yes. Well, now we're Twitter friends. We can do all that. We're going to
do all that.
We'll do all that. Tell folks in that camera where they can actually find you if they want to talk to you on social media.
Come find me. My Twitter handle and Instagram is I am Lauren Shaw.
It's very easy, folks. You
Yes.
can find that. And you'll find her on my pages, too, because I've liked some of her stuff.
We're going to be gardening together, so check his Snapchat.
Yeah, check my Snapchat. She's taking my loquats. I'm James Lott Jr., of course. Spotlight Ons are all available on iTunes and YouTube under AfterBuzz TV. You'll find this one will be there with Lauren Shaw will be there. You can find it also posted on my pages at James Lott Jr. We'll see you next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.